Welcome and thanks so much for joining us for this week's edition of the Financial Game Plan with Skip Kelley. I'm Rebecca Powers. Each week we talk about your retirement, about your written plan to get you there, and it all starts with a plan, doesn't it, Skip?
Well, Rebecca, you hit the nail on the head, by the way. I must say today you are really popping. You got the colors working here today.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you so much. And you always look great. We were laughing because, you know, he's like, I've been doing this for years and years and years. I don't wear a jacket. I don't even barely wear a tie when I have meetings with people. It really is such a personal relationship. And isn't that where it starts? To get to know your client and their true needs.
Well, I would hope so. I would hope that a tie or a jacket wouldn't mean a whole heck of a lot, but it's good because honestly, as I was mentioning, the only time I ever wear a tie is for the TV show. But whatever, if it makes you feel better, terrific. You know?
But it's a very laid-back atmosphere, is my point, really.
Geez,
I mean, your beautiful daughter, she's so smart, and Cody Rose, and it truly is a family affair. Your father worked for Merrill Lynch for a long, long time. Why did you go independent? Why did you become a fiduciary and not work for the big box cookie-cutter plan?
Well, I don't think I didn't even know that I was going to get into this industry when I did. I'd always been doing a lot with finances. I traded futures for 11 years. I know the markets inside and out, but I've done a lot of different things. I worked for an international paper for over 20 years, Fortune 50 company in sales. So I've done a lot of different things, but I really got involved with the trading futures and real estate, Southwest Florida real estate to be exact. And I don't know that I have to tell anybody what happened. From the year 2000 to 2007, I made an absolute fortune down in Florida. Anybody could have done it. And then I don't have to tell you what happened in 2007, 8, and 9. Changed everything at a very, kind of a difficult time in life because I was still paying 3 tuitions at the time. So
wow.
Life has a way of taking us on journeys that we don't necessarily, don't really know where the heck we're going to end up.
Exactly. Speaking of don't know where the heck we're going to end up, when you watch the news and you see what's going on in the world, the volatility can cause fear and uncertainty. So that's why Skip has preached for many, many years about safety. There's growth money, there's safety money. Let's talk about some tools. You mentioned the word annuity last week, and I wrote it down thinking we need to talk about that again. Explain why and how annuities work so well right now.
Well, Rebecca, annuities, don't be afraid of that word. An annuity, let's just think about this for a second. What does annuity mean? Annuity simply means it's going to give you income for a life, for as long as you're breathing, or you or your partner are breathing, okay? And so think about it. What is Social Security? Social Security is an annuity. It's an income stream you're going to have for life. What is a pension? A pension is an annuity. So is there any such thing, is there such a thing as too many income streams?
No.
I don't care if it's for $27 a month. I'll take that income stream. You don't have to take it. But so don't be afraid of that word. But annuity, all it really is it's another arrow that you have in your financial quiver, but it's the only arrow that I'm aware of that's going to give you peace of mind because you just don't have to worry about it. Regardless of what the markets do, you're going to be okay. That's why I don't care how much money you've got in your portfolio, it should not all be at risk. End of story. Let's put some in the safe money category and some at risk. And the question always is how much of each. And every single client family that we work with is a different formula.
Right.
We have to first determine how much income you're going to need in retirement if you're going to have a plan that's going to give you that peace of mind that you ask for.
Yeah. Now, I can give my personal story. I was a news anchor for many, many years. I put my money in 401k, set it, forget it. And then I looked forward and I realized what high risk I was in, and I couldn't stomach that. I would rather not make a whole bunch of money and know that my money is safe. So a fixed indexed annuity was right for me, shaved off a whole bunch of my 401k. How can the insurance company give me zero risk? Zero is my hero. So when the market goes way up, I get a little of the gains, not all of it. But when it goes down, I lose nothing.
That's right.
How do they do it?
Well, that's the whole claim to fame. Remember, safe money is monies that you can't lose. Hopefully, you're going to get reasonable rates of return from it.
Yeah.
So when you give the insurance company your money, you're putting the money into the market. And when the market goes up, you go up. When the market goes down, you stay even, exactly as you had just mentioned. How do they do that? Oh, they're just magicians.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
They're the best.
They'll take care of it, yeah. The biggest reason is because they don't take all of the premium that they take, whether it be for life insurance or for annuities, it doesn't buy one stock, it doesn't buy one mutual fund, it doesn't buy one ETF. It's not investing in the stock market. What life insurance companies are brilliant at, and they've done for decades, hundreds of years, is that they are in the corporate bond game. And they know that market inside and out. They also know that you're not going to get 21% increases this year, or 33% increases, or even 13% increases. If they're working with all of your money in the bond market, there's a certain amount of money that they can work with, and you got to figure that the best you're probably going to do, and we want to get reasonable rates of return, 4%, 5%, 6%, 7%, somewhere in that area. That they can do with bonds, but you're not going to get 23% or huge gains like you would in the market. But the difference being is that you'll never lose money. You know what happens. We just lost 30% of our market gains 2 years ago.
Right.
On January, we were at all-time highs. And then in a matter of 6 months, we were down about 30%. That doesn't give anybody peace of mind.
Right. And I'll be honest, in the last year, the market's done okay. It's done well.
It's done fantastic.
My husband's like, oh, you moved all your money to, most of my money. But I don't care. I'm not greedy.
Well,
I sleep well at night.
If your money was in the market 2 years ago, you would have lost the 30%.
No, I mean in the last 6 months or so.
Well,
it's
right.
done better than I guess we thought it would do.
It made your money back is all it did.
But I still did around 7 or whatever, if I'm allowed to say that. I still did okay. I didn't get the huge gains, but I had zero risk.
Oh, no, it was terrific. All of my clients were very, very happy. The markets came back, and they got us back to where we were 2 years ago.
Right.
And the part that people don't want to hear is that, okay, well, we made all our money back in 2 years, and anyone who's listening to the show knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
They made all their money back, but my question to you is it still as valuable today as it was to you 2 years ago? And the answer is, heck no. If you're looking at your 401k, what happened over the last 2 years?
Inflation?
Inflation.
See, I got it right. You asked a question.
It just knocked the heck out of all of us. And I don't care what number. You can't pin the numbers that Washington gives us, 16%, 19% over the last 3 years. Everyone on the planet that's ever done 1 ounce of shopping knows. You go to the grocery store and you're up 40%, 50% overall. It's not 16% or 19% over the last few years. So that 401k that you're very happy just came back to where it was 2 years ago does not have the value that it had for you 2 years ago.
Absolutely. All right, if safety or risk aversion, anything we're talking about resonates with you, you really need to give us a call and get in with Skip. The offer that he makes is the first appointment is absolutely free. It is a comprehensive look under the hood of what's going on in your financial life. And the whole goal of this relationship is to write down a holistic financial plan. Let's talk about the parts of that plan, Skip. Give him the number, invite him in, and then we're going to take a quick break.
All right. If anything makes sense to you in our conversation today and you want to continue the conversation, give us a holler at 844-823-6398, and let's get the ball rolling. Let's see where you're at and where you need to be, where you need to go forward. And then, within a matter of just a couple of meetings, we'll determine if we're a fit and hopefully get you on the right path. It's all about income and retirement. I help hundreds of families. They're going to have monies in the market, and you're going to have monies that are safe. But I tell you what, if you want peace of mind, you can't have all your money in the market. And that's what the financial game plan is all about. How much of each kind of money, safe monies and risk monies, should we have in our portfolio to get the income that we desire, adjusted for inflation so that we can maintain our lifestyle and have that peace of mind we're looking for?
It is possible. You do not have to be a victim to the market. All right, stay with us. I'm Rebecca Powers here with Skip Kelley. He is president of Terra, Firma Financial Advisory. We do this show each week, mapping out your game plan for a great retirement. We'll be right back.
Our office is in Manchester. Beautiful, beautiful old Victorian. It's a historic building, 1905 it was built. We've got 5 people in our office working in there, and it's just a cozy, cozy environment. When people come in, we make it very enjoyable for them and stress-free. We've got the Paul Newman organic coffee with real cream. We've got Otis Spunkmeyer cookies right out of the oven. We've got my little 5-pound pooch that's a lap surfer. You don't look out, she'll be sitting on your lap. It's just a low-stress environment, and that's the way we want to keep it for our clients always. And everybody in there is just as sweet as pie. I mean, when I tell you that it's a nice environment for me to work in and live in, you know, each and every day. I got my daughter there. I have, you know, Lisa, who is our director of operations. She's an absolute sweet. She's the single best hand holder I've ever seen, and that's what she does. She does the applications, the money chasing. She's just an absolute doll, and all of our clients love her. We have Denise, who is our receptionist and does a tremendous amount of admin work and things of that nature. And then we have Peter, who is about as nice a man as you're ever going to want to meet, who does our clients' taxes and estate planning. So it's just a nice, warm, friendly environment. It's a nice place to hang out, not only for us as employees and employers, but for our clients. They all love coming to see us.
Welcome back. The name of the show is The Financial Game Plan, because it is all about an in-writing strategic game plan for you and your family, specifically to get you through the end of retirement. You have taught us all, it all starts with one word, and that's income. So the first meeting, take your magic wand. What do I want my retirement to look like? How much income will I need? Once they tell you that income amount, let's talk about your reverse engineering, your big game plan process.
Yeah, reverse engineering. That's a good way to put it. I haven't put it that way before, but it makes a lot of sense. The first thing we have to do is figure out what are your income needs to maintain your lifestyle such as it is today. Now, some people haven't done the work and haven't accumulated enough money to make that happen. If that's the case, all we can do is the best we can do. But the overall guide is to try to make sure that you can maintain today's lifestyle adjusted for inflation. So it can't be static, it has to go up. We all know that that's very, very important these days, especially after what we've seen with inflation over the last couple of years. So,
yeah, you just kind of see how much. So let's say I need $10,000 a month to live, and I only have $3,000 a month from Social Security. So you look at that $7,000 and say, okay, you have this much risk. How do you kind of harvest it out? What are those little strategic things you do?
Well, we try to determine how much more income we're going to need, as you had mentioned, and as soon as we come up with that figure. Now remember, the most important number that anyone ever gives me is that expense figure.
Okay.
What's our target going
the bills.
to be? We're an income planner. You have to have a target. So that's where we start. And it's very, very important. And I want to tell you the easiest way to come up with that number, because so many people will come in and say, well, I've got a mortgage, I've got a car payment. I go, I don't care about any of that stuff. I want to know how much you're spending. So forget it. I don't care how much you're spending on your credit cards. The easiest way to determine how much money you're spending, because that's, according to me, what you need to maintain your lifestyle, is to look at your checking account statement. At the bottom of every checking account, every line item that comes out of your checking account, that's a debit. Okay, so at the bottom of the statement, you're going to look for total debits. I don't care where you spent the money. I don't care what the debits were. Give me the total debit number on that checking account and go back 12 statements. Add them all up, divide by 12, and you have a very good idea how much money you spent last year. And that, to me, tells me how much money we need to duplicate on an annual basis and then adjust that for inflation going forward. And by the way, whatever number we do come up with, I'm going to add a little wiggle room there, because I don't want you getting into arguments standing in the hallway or the aisle at Target saying, hey, we could get that cheaper at Walmart. You know, we don't want to have to worry about that kind of things in retirement.
And you want to have joy in retirement. You've mentioned that before. It's not just about, do I have enough money, to survive? Do you have enough money to have a joyous retirement? You want to be happy in retirement. Some people come in and you realize that they maybe don't spend enough. Or I want to retire in 5 years. Guess what? You can retire now. Like, there's good news that you can give.
I see that all the time. More often than not, I see people, especially, it's hard to paint any particular picture, but I see families, this comes up time and time again, whereas the wife has been waiting for decades to do in their retirement the things that they never did all those years they were raising kids.
Yes.
And they want to pop the cork and go do a few things on the bucket list. And many, many times, and again, it doesn't matter the husband, the wife, I don't want to get this all mixed up here.
Yeah.
But usually one person is a lot more worried than the other. And the other person is dying, chomping at the bit to get out there and start living life. And many times when you actually go through the entire planning process, which is not rocket science, we're done in 2 meetings, and they start seeing that, holy cow, we're okay. We can actually take that extra vacation. We can take the kids down to Disney World, or we can, put that pool out in the backyard. When they see that they can start doing those things, that to them is just a beautiful thing. It's an opportunity for them to enjoy and understand and stop pounding on each other. Yes, we can. No, we can't. You don't need that kind of thing going on in your life. You both need to know where you're at and what your capabilities are financially going in the future.
Boy, that is such a great point. It is so, joke a little bit that you're somewhat of a counselor, a therapist
there's no doubt
in a
about
way.
it. Yeah. I try not to get too deeply involved in that aspect of it, but it is part of what we do.
But by showing that plan, you can say, look, you're better than you thought, or
You're
you can
okay.
retire tomorrow.
And I usually don't answer any of my own questions. I ask them, so how do you feel now?
Yeah.
Can you take that extra vacation each year? Can you take that river cruise? And they'll look at me. They might be sheepishly, but the person with the stick in the mud, let's put it that way, goes, yeah, I guess we can.
could.
Yeah. It's nice. It's freeing.
Yeah, freeing. That's the word. Very liberating. And another cool thing, I love that you do different scenarios. You say, here's your financial plan if we go this way, here's all these different scenarios. You kind of you throw in the fake what ifs, you put the bad stuff on paper, I guess, right? Yeah. To figure out the different scenarios.
I always start in with Rebecca with what I would do if I were you. End of story. That's where we start. And then of course you're always going to have different options. Some people, everything that we do is based on the answers that I'm given by the potential client. That's just the way that it works. It's ultimately their money and they're going to be making the decisions. I will just give you my options that I think will work best for you, and then you choose which ones makes more sense to you.
Absolutely. All right, already time to take a very short break. Let's give them the number, invite them in, Skip, and tell them it is really painless.
It truly is painless. If anything we say makes sense here today, 844-823-6398. Don't hesitate to call. People hesitate and procrastinate for decades. It is so important. You had mentioned earlier in the show, 10 years out, that's the best time to start your planning because you have the most options going forward. Plus, you have a really good time frame to make critical changes that you might need to make, whether it be in income or expenses or whatever, or your allocations, the investments that you're allocated in. You've got critical time to change those things with 10 years. The closer you get to retirement age, the fewer options that I have for you. So if it makes sense, give us a holler. Come on in. No rocket science, and there's no stress. It's a nice, cozy confirmation, and we can talk about how things are in our office in the next section if you'd like.
Let's do that. It is definitely local, it is family, and they definitely have a fire in their belly every day to get up and make sure that they know that their clients are sleeping well at night. It's all about peace of mind, and we can get that with that first appointment, and it really is complimentary. That means no charge at all. All right, stay with us. We're talking about your retirement game plan right after this.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back. I'm Rebecca Powers here with Skip Kelley. He's president of Terra Firma Financial Advisory. Of course, they have changed hundreds of lives with their financial plans. The reason we do this show and spend all this time and effort to do this is because you want to empower, you want to educate. You do seminars where you'll actually go speak in large groups. Tell me what you were saying on the break about 95% of the room. That was fascinating.
We do in the area of 50 different evening workshops or dinner seminars. Right now, it used to be all dinner seminars. Right now, we're about half and half. For whatever reason, that's just the way it works out these days.
Yeah.
And most of those workshops, we're shooting to have about 30 fannies in the seats, 30 people interested in trying to figure out what the heck is going on. If I took all the wealth out of that room, every dime of it. Now, I'm not talking real estate wealth. I'm talking about market or bank type wealth or insurance type wealth. If I took all the wealth out of that room, 90 to 95% of the wealth is at the risk of the markets. In other words, your assets can go up and down in value. 90 to 95, and truly the number is 95%, which means only about 5% of the wealth in that room is someplace safe. Think about who I'm talking to, Rebecca.
Yeah.
I'm talking to people, when we market these things, I'm talking to people that are 55 to 75 years old. Should they have 90 to 95% of their wealth at risk at that juncture in their lives?
Absolutely not.
It's crazy. And nobody there believes it until they come in and sit with me. And of course, that's one of the first things we do is we determine how much risk they have in their portfolio currently. And guaranteed, 90 to 95% all day long.
Wow.
And of course, that's why they come back for the second meeting, because it's like, boom, wow. I've been, this is crazy. I never thought about that. If I'm going to have any peace of mind, I need to make more of my money safe, because I do not want to live with the ups and downs of the markets, as we know that they can happen. We just lost 30% a little over 2 years ago. We gained it back. That's lovely. The markets have always come back in our lifetime. But there were two other huge events just in our recent past. 2001, the markets came down 46%. Took 6.5 years to come back to those previous highs. And then in 2007, we did the same thing again, only it went down more than 50% this time. And it took another 5.5 years to get back to those break-even numbers. If you're working, who cares, Rebecca? Because your lifestyle hasn't changed. You're working, you still have your income coming in, life is good, you're still, putting your kids through college, still paying the mortgage, things of that nature. But it can change dramatically when the markets pull back and all 90 to 95% of your wealth is in the markets. What happens now? Now you're in really a quagmire. You're in tough shape. Your stomach, maybe you can't even sleep at night because, hey, I was going to retire next year. Now I'm going to have to work 3, 4, 5 more years. Or I was going to retire, not only maybe work, but you're going to have to make changes. And what if you're in that situation where, hey, the time comes for everybody, can't work anymore, even part-time stuff. So the world changes right underneath our feet. We don't want to have to be worried about having a nice life, but only depending on what the market's going to give us. We want to get out from underneath that. And that's the ultimate goal of what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, great story.
Is give ourselves peace of mind.
And not be a victim to the market, because we've all, I think I call it the Wall Street model, where we've all just been taught to work, but we weren't taught how to manage properly. Oh, leave it in the stock market. It'll be fine. Just don't look. That's a big question mark. And when the big boxes have told us, oh, you could probably take 3 or 4% a year and be okay, that's where you have the big unknown and the fear.
Well, I think most people don't know that maybe they can only take 3 or 4% out of their market monies in retirement and hopefully not run out of money. But that is the number. Right. They call it the Monte Carlo algorithm. Most brokers will tell you you could take, if you have $1 million, you could take out 4% a year. What does that equate to? That's $40,000 a year. You can take $4,000 and hopefully not run out of money. And in reality, it gives you an 80% chance of not running out of money. But most people are under the impression they have no idea. They've never heard the 4% rule that you're talking about there. And they think they can take out 8, 10, 15% every year and not run out of money. Well, I'm only going to live 20 more years, we'll be fine. It doesn't work that way.
And even taking the 4%, you've made us realize you're compounding your loss, you're taking money out, so you don't have as much money that's growing, and it's just a kind of a recipe for disaster.
If you have to take money out of a market that's been pulled down by market forces, if you've got to take money out of those stock accounts, Every time you make a withdrawal while the market is down, you are shooting another financial toe off. End of story. You're losing critical mass so that when the markets do come back, you'll never get back to where you were previously.
Are there other tools? I know we talk about annuities. I personally have a fixed indexed annuity. There are some annuities that are not great. If someone has a variable that a girlfriend of mine was sold years ago, can they move that variable? Can they switch it to a safe product that's best for today's environment?
There are lots of different annuities out there, Rebecca. Fixed index annuity is an insurance product. If you go to a broker and you tell them, hey, listen, I need to make some of this money safe, we need to create some income, he won't put you in a fixed index annuity because he's not an insurance broker.
Right.
He's a stockbroker.
He's a stockbroker.
He will put you into a securities product called a variable annuity. And variable annuities, I've never seen one that I like. There's hundreds and hundreds of them out there, and I got to tell you, we have converted hundreds of clients from their variable annuities to fixed index annuities. There's a huge difference. The variable annuities is still at risk. Your market values will go up and down. Your monies are still invested in the market, whereas with a fixed index annuity from an insurance company, you don't have any stocks in that portfolio. All of your money's invested in bonds, and you're guaranteed not to lose any money in those instruments. The other thing is that the fees on variable annuities are out of sight. They average between 3.5% to 4.5% before you gain anything. The markets have to go up 3.5% to 4.5%. Whereas with a fixed indexed annuity, the fees in the instruments that I use, there are no fees on there. But there are companies out there, most of them average 1% to 1.2%. So if you're going to pay a fee, I'd rather do 1.2% than 3.5%, 4.5%.
And it's a one-time. It's not like you're constantly getting charged, right?
Well,
when you buy...
No, it's on an annual basis.
Oh, it is an annual basis.
Yeah, it's on an annual. The fee for the annuities, if there is a fee, would be on an annual basis. Absolutely.
And there are so many right now that don't even have fees. In 2022,
well, there are now.
$300 billion in annuities were sold. What does that tell you?
They're very popular. But they're popular with the people who are in the know. If you don't know the good parts of an annuity, then you need to get educated. And that's what we do. We're educators. We want to show you what to do, why to do it, and how to do it. And once you see that, then make up your mind whether or not you like that word annuity, whether it be variable or fixed. But fixed is the way to go.
All right. And there's so many other products we didn't even have a chance to talk about, but it does all start with getting educated. There's our number, 844-823-6398. There's also that QR code. Remember, this first appointment is absolutely free. We can't wait to meet you.